Thing is, I think it goes back to voids and desperation, right? As men, we're told that they're on this pedestal, and don't get me wrong, I'm putting my girl on a pedestal, but it can't be above me. It's above everyone else. So, Kev, BDE podcast, we made it to episode 3. Episode 1, a little tipsy, a little off topic. Episode 2, still a little tipsy, more on topic, but we added in some random shit at the end.
Yeah.
Episode 3. By the way, you're with Kev and Joe on the BDE podcast.
Yes.
That was like the weird ass intro. But I wanted to hop in because something you said last episode happened to me in between, and it caught me in my tracks. So I'm on IG, and I'm not like actively dating on IG, but talking to people. And so a girl I met at this run club, we've been just chatting, going back and forth, like low key. Episode 1 stuff where you were like, oh, we're like going back. It's not like that, but it's like that. And she asked me a question that she already had the answer to because I know we had talked about. She was like, yo, what do you do for work? I know that we had talked about this. And in my head, I'm like, okay, but we already talked about it. And she said, almost word for word, well, I have a lot of conversations, so it's really tough. And instantly, it was like, what is that? That's So Raven zoomed back into the past and the future at the same time. I'm like, Kev told me that if a girl's entertaining mad dudes, he's out immediately. And something in my soul was like, bro, I'm done. And I wasn't even I didn't even start to be done. But it was like, yo, I can't even, like, why are you, in my head, who are these people you talking to that you can't even, you're not registering information?
So you didn't take it as like there's a lot of conversation that y'all had that she,
she said
got
I
lost
talked
in
to a
the
lot
sauce?
of people specifically. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
she said a lot of conversation that we had, maybe a
Yeah.
little different. And it's not, I mean, it's your toxic trait, not mine.
Yeah.
But instantly I was like, oh, that's a new data point that I did not have before.
That just goes back. It just goes back to the fact that I feel like women have multiple men
You
that
keep
they're
saying
talking
that.
to, bro.
You keep
and
saying
it's like,
that.
and they may not necessarily be like, I'm gonna get with this guy, but like it's like the back burner guy, the dude that if plan A don't work, I got plan B.
You
that-
really, bro, who jaded you? You just got to tell me, who did it to you?
Nobody is necessarily that somebody did it to me, man. I've been on both sides of that
Got it.
field, Like I've talked to a girl that had a man. I've talked to a married woman. I've talked to a female that is a friend that is like she's telling me this. It's like if you talk to 5 girls and all 5 girls are like either in the situation or doing this,
So you're saying if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a
it's
duck.
a duck.
Maybe it's just the ducks you're around, though. Maybe you need to find different ponds.
Shit. Yeah, 100%.
There's
that's
something-
the goal. That's the goal, though.
I guess
like
that does make sense,
that's
right?
the goal.
That
But
does
that's,
make sense.
we're in fucking a world where it's like not like that.
You said there was something from last episode that you wanted to talk more about that we didn't get into deep enough. What was it?
The therapy thing.
Oh, we could talk about that if you want. I thought you.
Oh
were
no.
talking-
Oh yeah. No. So. Yeah,
feel
so it was off air. We ended up having that conversation. So, guys, like last time we recorded, y'all heard people in the background, and it was because we had like friends that were back there kind of listening in, and and at the end of the episode, I wish they would have spoke up like during. It just would have made it juicier.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the episode, they were talking about one girl said that if she's dating somebody, she would want him to say, "Hey, like, you're my girlfriend, I'm your boyfriend, it's official." Like,
for me, that's clarity. I look at that as like clarity. What do
Yeah.
you see that point of view?
well, it's not that I see where like, okay, like that if the conversation comes up, like like if it comes up like organically,
Bet.
then like like you can talk about that. But like my thing has always been like actions speak louder than words. Like if I'm acting like your boyfriend and I'm doing boyfriend things and I'm showing like that I care about you and you see that like I don't necessarily have too much time and I'm putting a lot of time into you, all right, like that should be good enough for me to be like, for me to think that we're exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's at the end of the day, that's what it's like, are we exclusive or are we not?
Facts. I hear what you're saying on that.
Like, I'd rather say that, actually. Be like, yeah, like, I'm just trying to be exclusive with you than just being like, Do you want to be my girlfriend? Like, bro, that's like some fucking 4th grade shit, bro.
Circle
Like,
yes or
circle
no.
yes or no or maybe.
And then they hit the or. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. There's too many girls who circled or on me. I mean, they still circling or on me.
Yes or no. Oh, and
Yeah,
then put the
but
or.
yeah. I feel
That's
like they
fucked
still
up.
circling or. You're right. It is.
Yeah.
So what? So you don't think that saying it means as much as showing it, or you don't think that you should have to say it? What are we at?
Well, the thing is that no, you shouldn't necessarily have to say it, bro. All right, I'm a guy.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
and
good to know. So that's
as a
what we're
man,
identifying.
as a man, men are good at with like kind of saying what like we know what to say to a female because we know what females want to hear, right? So like,
Yes.
it's very easy for a man to be like, oh baby, I'm gonna do this for you. We're gonna do this. Like, oh, you're
Facts.
my this, you're my
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna marry you. I'm gonna do this,
Mm.
and then be out like dogging, doing some other shit that's not necessarily what they're actually saying to this
I hear what
girl.
you're saying.
And this dude could be saying it to like multiple girls, but it's very hard to show that action to multiple girls. Like, you have to have like, you must be not doing shit throughout your day. If you can do like, if you can entertain like, if I can't entertain more than 2 females or more than 1 female because like 2 females is like, think about
It's
it,
a
bro.
lot of
Like,
work.
It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
I think dudes figure out how to do it.
but how deep is it?
No, I definitely hear what you're saying. I think it depends on the actions that you're talking about, because I see what you're saying is that it's easy to say something. I think so. Do you know about the love languages?
Yeah.
So my love language is acts of service, and I've come to the conclusion that it's acts of service because it's the most difficult. Right, giving gifts and talking, like quality time and acts of service are probably way up for me. Is because it takes the most amount of work, and so it feels the most genuine. But I know we both know dudes who can show what they need to show to get what they need to get or feel they want, and then after, it's wrapped. So I think,
Especially when, my bad.
No, go
Especially
ahead.
with like guys who have lots of money,
facts.
they're able to like,
Yeah, I can show you. Oh, I can bring you on.
yeah,
I can bring you on
do
the
this,
boat.
like,
I can.
But it's like it's watered down, bro. Like,
It's not. So I see what you're saying. It's not genuine, but that's why I think, for a woman's perspective, like, we're not used to getting wined and dined. We're not used to, guys, or well, definitely not guys, but we're not used to someone we're interested in doing those things. So to you, it's like, yo, I'm doing all of this.
yeah.
To her, I could see the perspective that this happens. Everybody does what you're doing.
But then that's how I don't want to be involved.
No, I'm saying everyone who's interested. When I'm saying not everyone now, but everyone who's interested is doing what you're doing. And so, and I think it is our perspective that we shouldn't have to quote unquote say it. A lot of guys, when we talked the other night, it was like, why do I have to say anything? You should just know. But like, in my perspective, I think we should do both. Like, we should show it with our actions, but also I think people like to hear, especially, I would be curious to see if women are more likely to be words of affirmation than men are. I don't know, but my assumption would be that women are more likely to be words of affirmation than men are.
I feel like they'll be like gifts.
You think so? I think they're probably more likely to be gifts, and I think whatever we didn't get, I honestly think that's where love languages come from. Like, I think
What
as
you
an
didn't
adult,
get as a child.
whatever you didn't get as a kid, I think you're more likely to want in relationships as an adult, and I think you see that mostly with women who have daddy issues, and the age of the person that they typically want to date, the things that they're looking for. If you had a difficult relationship with your mom, or if mom was the only one around, like, I think it's very easy. Mine 100% come from me. I think it comes from my relationship with my dad. I'm acts of service because he said, I'm going to be there. And I would sit and wait. And it's like, I'm going to be there at 10 a.m. and it's 9 p.m. and I'm out like, he's coming, don't worry.
Yeah.
And so you got to show me because what you said. But there's a lot of people who want to hear it. They want it cemented. They don't want to assume, right? Because how many times have you assumed somebody's actions and you were wrong? And they're like, oh, I never said. Or like,
Yeah, no.
you're here every night.
It's happened. It's
Yeah,
happened. It's
you're
happened.
here every night. But yeah, I wanted to smash.
Yeah.
As opposed to this meant it was serious. I honestly think you got to do both. I don't think that it has to be like, will you be my girlfriend? I like the exclusive conversation. I like
but that's what that girl said.
I
Like,
understand.
she was literally
yeah,
like,
that was super.
no, like, we're not official until you're like, you want to be my boyfriend. Like, you have to literally ask me that you want to be my boyfriend and I'm your girlfriend.
And
like,
how am I supposed to know? Like,
But like that shit to me, bro, when she said that, I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
that was
you
weird.
must be talking to multiple people. Because like, you're not gonna take one man like, he's showing you everything, he's doing everything, he's going above beyond.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm thinking more than the other guy.
True.
Or
Especially
any other guys.
Especially if you're looking for that conversation from him, definitely.
And y'all are, you want him to ask you that. You want him to say that, but like, you're not gonna act like a girlfriend or like even be in that, show that level of loyalty or respect because he hasn't specifically asked you, will you be my girlfriend? Will you be my boyfriend or girlfriend? Yes or no? Like, bro, that's so corny to me, bro. Like, the only time I feel like I need to ask a specific question like that is if I'm on one knee and I'm asking you to be my wife.
No, I hear that.
Like,
I definitely hear that. But why is so? Let's bring it back. Why is that question so important?
Will you marry me?
Yeah. Why?
Well, it's tradition, one.
Okay.
And then two, it's like, you've already established the girlfriend part. You've already.
But why, realistically, why is that question important? Because what? Because on the other side of it, what?
I mean, it's clarity, right?
So then I think under the same respect, if you want her to take you as serious, right? Because we're also not 20 anymore. And so maybe then they're like, oh, you should assume. But now, like, if I'm dating you seriously, I'm dating you seriously for marriage. So then why would the precursor to that not also be an important conversation to have?
I mean, it's okay to have the conversation. Like, the conversation comes, and it's always typically is like it comes from the female side. I feel like, at least in my cases, where she'll be like, all right, so like,
what are we?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Like, and then like, but I still wouldn't be like, oh, you're my girlfriend. What do you mean? I'll be like, yo, listen, like we've been hanging out a lot.
Yeah,
it's been great. Like, I'm really, I always say this, like, I'm fucking with you. Like, you fuck with me, I fuck with you.
Let me ask you this: why won't you just say, like, I want you? Like, why would you be so against? Like, now that we've had this conversation, would you be like, yo, I want you to be my girl? Would you be? What about asking specifically actually isn't the move for you?
It's just corny.
Is it
bro.
corny or is it uncomfortable?
It's corny.
Okay.
Will you be my girlfriend?
Yeah.
Bro, I swear, I think I did that 5th grade. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like, to me, like, the words don't mean anything like that.
No,
now, obviously, I'll say, like, I'm exclusive to you. Like, I would hope for the same back. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would say. That's what I'm thinking. Just like being exclusive with each other. I guess exclusive would be the more word that I would say now, rather than like, will you be my girlfriend?
But if someone asked, you wouldn't say, oh, we're exclusive. You say, that's my girl. You say, that's my girlfriend.
Sometimes I be saying that shit way too early. Like, if I bring you around, if you're a girl and I bring you around to where like somebody's like, that's your girl. Like, even if you ain't my girl, like, but I see that we're kind of like talking, I'll be like, yeah, that's my girl. Like,
so by that logic, I should have a conversation, because you're saying you're going to call me your girl even when you're not my girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, right?
What are you talking about?
That's fucked up.
Kev, now you know you got to have the conversation from now on.
Yeah, because
especially if she watches the show.
You
better be watching the show or you can't be his girlfriend. I'm telling you that right now.
You and you out here thoughting out. Damn, that's a bad look. That's a bad look for me. Man, it's just like having your girlfriend, bro. Like, I've always said, like, your girlfriend is like your representation of yourself.
I hear you. I think anybody in our lives really could be that.
Stop recording.
I see it, but the other one's going. Let's keep going. I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be fine, I think. It is a representation of you, but you're also a representation of her.
Yeah, for sure. That's just like, man, my worst fear, bro, is just like, I don't ever want to be like embarrassed.
That's what it is. So is that also the question? Is that what? Do you think that's the problem with the question, is that you would feel embarrassed?
Not necessarily if she said no.
Got it.
Like, if I ever felt to the point where, like, I'm your, like, I want to ask you that, and you're like, oh, nah, like, we're just having fun, I'll be like, I'll feel like, damn, I've been putting all this energy and all this girl want to do is just have fun. Like, I mean, that's never really happened. But then again, like, I've been single for a fucking long time. So, but I like my biggest fear is like claiming somebody and then like they thoughting out.
I can hear that.
Like,
I definitely
chilling
that's
with a
happened to me a couple
girl.
times for sure.
I'm posting her. I'm claiming her.
Oh, well,
we're
not the
out and
posting, but
about, and then like she's in everybody's DM, like not in everybody, but entertaining DMs and like.
But that can happen anyway. You could claim it or not
That's
claim it.
my worst fear, though.
Is it?
Is it?
So do you think that stops you then?
Stop me from what?
From like actually going all in. Is that fear stopping you, or is it like has there been someone where you maybe wanted to claim, but that fear is not allowing you to?
Nah, because I wouldn't. That's a fear that I have, but like if I've even sensed that like you are entertaining somebody else or and anything in that aspect, then
sense
like,
it. You
if
sensing
I even
it.
sense it,
Really?
yeah, bro. Then I wouldn't even claim you. Besides, like that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like I don't know. It's different. There's been girls I've hung out with, and like where I was saying like if I see that me and her are getting kind of serious, like I will be like if somebody's asking me like, yo, who's that? Like I'll say it's like my girl because it's like two things too. Like I say it's my girl because like I'm not trying to have anybody hitting on her. It's like almost a bro code type shit.
So
like if I walk up to you
want to claim her, but you don't want to claim her.
I'll be like, I know Joe. I don't see Joe posting anybody on IG. Like, who's this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, Joe, who's that?
Oh, we kicking it.
Oh, y'all, like that's your girl?
Honestly, if that's your follow up, I'm like, why?
Cause I'm trying to holler at her.
Okay, bet. Yeah, dude. So this is where I'm fucked up. Do what you do because if you can, then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Thank you. Honestly, if you can, thank you. I appreciate it.
But some people be beasting, bro. Like after that, like, oh yeah, and then they'll be like, oh word, and then like just be like, yo, and then it maybe she'll be like, yo, like I'm with like
bet that. So that's what.
Oh well, he just told me you're free game.
So yeah. Well, I would never say that.
Yo, he just said that's not you. So I mean,
I would
my
never
bad.
say that.
I didn't
but
mean to
I
step
think,
on anybody's
I think
toes.
there's this idea that we own people. That even a title means that there's ownership. And for me, bro, like if you can get her, then she was never mine.
Facts.
And I've been in a couple situations where that's the case. And honestly, yeah, it hurts the ego, but it doesn't really hurt the eventuality because of the fact that like that obviously wasn't real, and it sucks. You know what I mean? But on the other side of the conversation about exclusivity, I think I'm so bullheaded about clarity because like you said, you've been on both sides of it. I've had the conversation that you had, and the girl tried me, and I made sure that it will never be a clarity issue again. I was like, yo, just so you know, like I'm not really checking for nobody else. I really enjoy what we're doing. Like this is good for me, right? And so we kicking it longer after that, and she goes on this date, and she like low key tells me about it, and
cut.
So I'm like, yo, what happened? We had this conversation. She was like, oh, well, you never asked me what I was doing. And
she's cut.
Very similar to old girl at the pool the other night. She didn't go on the date to go on the date. She went on a date to prove the point that, like, I hadn't claimed her in the way that you're talking about.
Cut.
I hear what you're saying. But to avoid... Well, maybe maybe that was a great point because of the fact that, like, I got to see the true colors. But to avoid that nonsense, I'm just very much like, this is what I want. What do you want?
Bro,
it's a conversation.
The thing is, though, like, if she does that at that point, this is my logic. And, like, then again, like, everything that I say, guys, I don't want y'all I'm not a therapist. I don't know shit. I just know my own life experiences.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we want here, though.
Who I've seen, who I've talked to.
Disclaiming.
I just want, because... You already know somebody's gonna say, "Oh, well, man, he's been through. Man, listen, you don't gotta like what I say, but
facts.
If she's doing that,
yeah,
she's the type of girl like she'll be married to you, and then like things ain't going well in the relationship, and she does some shit.
It's very possible.
That's
very
like
possible. Yeah,
she's showing traits of that.
I think so in that specific instance, I think it was definitely an insecurity of like. I think it was definitely an insecurity of do I want this? Do I not want this? He hasn't, like, he has told me what I want or what he wants, and she wanted a different type of, I would say, like, leadership, right? I think as men, we're supposed to be leaders, right? Right? That's the typical canon.
Yeah.
And I think just because we are a leader doesn't mean everyone responds to our leadership. And I think that's just a part of compatibility. But
Damn,
What?
Joe, we need to start quoting some of the shit that you say. 'Cause
Why?
that
What do you
was-
mean?
That was deep right there.
was it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, think about it like at work.
There can be 100 leaders, bro, but
Facts.
you know, not all leaders can lead every single
Facts.
person
Not everyone is compatible with
to
every.
that type of leadership.
Yeah, so I think you could be leading, but you got to find, and it doesn't, I mean,
Does she have daddy issues?
honestly, that person had more mommy issues. I think, honestly, she was dope. So, first of all, first Persian girl I ever dated or talked to like that. Persian girl, bro, first of all, the culture is really cool. The food is amazing. The language sounds beautiful. The women, beautiful. In a lot of ways, she was really dope. I will say, and maybe this is the segue, in the one way that I now need, so I had Ava at the time. She did not have I did not see her as a great role model for Ava. Like, I would not necessarily have wanted Ava to do at her age the things that she was doing.
Yeah.
And
At her, like, with her age,
like even at her age, like I think there's
like her age now,
Yeah.
that girl's age now.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
wouldn't want Ava to follow those footsteps.
yeah, like, so for instance, I think I'm much more attracted to sexy and beautiful, but not. I think I said one of the episodes, like, you never see it coming. Like, you do, there's an intrigue, but there's still a lot left to the imagination, and there wasn't a lot left to the imagination here.
Mhm.
And so I'm curious, do you think that you date women that right now that you would want your daughter to be like at their age, or even be the, not necessarily stepmom figure, but role model?
Yeah.
Do you?
No. Nah.
Not there yet.
No. Like, yes, no. So
Okay.
the question, to answer your question, do I date? Like, is the woman that I'm dating a role model for my daughter?
So first of all, are you dating somebody?
Nah.
Okay.
No, I'm not dating anybody right now.
So if
I'm dating myself.
go check out Escovez, Escovo,
Kevo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kevo. You know what I mean, slide in if you think you have an opportunity.
But nah, man, I think when I'm dating somebody, you know, that is something that I should probably be looking into first. You know, but just me being a guy, like, there's
hear
lots
you.
of other traits and shit that
Facts.
I look at before I even get to that. Now, that should probably be like my number one priority, and I think I've come to realization now that, like, I need to kind of put that up there. And the woman that I'm dating now, bro, like, I'm really not even dating.
Okay.
But
But when you look around, like,
when I'm looking around,
when
like,
you're sliding,
I do look at that, but it's not like a huge factor to me.
so does
I
that
feel
mean
like
that
it's
person is not going to be in your daughter's life?
If
If it's not a factor,
I just don't want it to be I don't want anybody that I'm dating to think that they have, like, a responsibility in my daughter at all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
facts.
Like, I'm just, like, I do it all on my own. And right now, like, my daughter, like, she doesn't necessarily need
A stepmom.
a stepmom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, her mom's in her life.
Yeah.
So
But you don't think that
I would want somebody, like, all right, for example, like, if I see a girl and me and her are kicking it and I'm starting to like her and she's an OnlyFans model, like, fuck no. Like, I'm not trying to have you around my daughter.
But
You
would
know
you
what
still
I'm
kick it with her and date her?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
But she probably would never be, she'll never meet my daughter.
So then how could she be a serious relationship?
She wouldn't, is what I'm saying. Like,
But you said you're dating for marriage.
No, I'm dating for marriage.
No, I thought you said you want one person.
If I'm dating, bro, because it's just two different things. Dating and smashing is two different things. So you're specifically talking about dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
if I'm
exclusive. I'm talking about
dating-
exclusive.
If I'm dating, bro, obviously, yeah, that woman that I'm dating, it needs to be some type of, like, She just needs to be something that I can leave you with my daughter, and I can trust you, and I can trust that my daughter's not gonna learn any. So I was basically saying about dating.
Yeah.
Like, is the woman that I'm dating gonna be a role model for my daughter?
Yeah.
I do look at that now, but I mix up the two a lot, which is probably bad for me.
Okay.
But I mix the two a lot, like who I'm smashing or who I'm trying to clap cheeks.
Is there a difference between clap cheeks and smashing, or?
No, it's the same thing.
Okay.
But,
yeah. In my experience, it is the same.
Yeah. So it's different, man. Like, I try to bring any female that I bring around my daughter has to put a positive impact into her. I won't bring any female around her that's like
facts. And that's friend, that's dating,
anything.
that's any female.
My homies.
So then what do you think
girls,
is the reason that we don't chase that exclusively? Because I agree with you. Like, there's definitely a point where I will be talking to somebody and I would want it to be exclusive, but then it's like there's this weird separation of like, oh, I could date you after my daughter's out the house because you won't be a necessarily role model for my daughter. And then there's also like, oh, I think you would be really great around my kid, and like not necessarily parenting, but when I think about who I want her to look up to. And I'm like you said, it's actually very interesting. Like, I don't necessarily need someone to help me raise my daughter, but I think there is a certain level of subconscious that dad chose her, so there must be value in her. Yeah. So the things that she is doing must be valuable. And if she is doing certain things that, we wouldn't want them to do, why are we still entertaining it?
Well, that I wouldn't end it if you're doing something, bro, that like I'm not.
So last episode you talked about like if a girl's posting crazy IG pics before you, and you like it. So if she's still posting the pics, you might still continue to kick it with her, but not necessarily date her exclusively. Why do we entertain it if it's not like? Are we just that primal? Is that what you think it is?
I don't know, man. It's the man. It's the man mentality.
But let's say we can't use that as the let's. Well, this might be the actual therapeutic episode. Let's try and deep it further than that. Let's take away just the primal, because we get to choose. We're grown now. Like, we don't have to have sex with anybody. Like, we could choose each time, and we do. Like, we get a choice. So why do we choose that when we could just wait for someone who we value enough to introduce to our daughters? And I'm not saying I'm not saying this is a Kev thing. This is a us thing. I'm asking the question because I'm developing answers as I'm asking it. Go ahead. High noon. Enjoy.
High noon at noon.
Facts.
All right, bro. I gotta keep it 100.
Let's go.
First of all, like, men, you say the option. We don't necessarily have the option. Women have the option, right? Mm-hmm. Because everybody want to smash a girl. Like, if a girl is like, a girl can pick out 10 guys and be like, I want you to smash, I want you, like, any guy, and it's going to be okay. Like, she can get, like, a dude's going to give it to them.
Isn't that the problem?
I mean, I don't know. That's the female's problem. My problem is I can only get what I can get.
I hear you.
So, like, if I see a girl who's I'm sexually attracted to, and I'm trying to get at it, like, I pursue it to get it. Like, not every girl I'm trying to talk to, I'm necessarily trying to, like, wife up.
Okay.
But
honestly, that switch has happened for me in the last, like, year or so, where, like, I'll be honest with you, like, this is way too much information. It's hard for me to perform sexually now if I'm not into you intellectually. Like, like, I can't go off physicality now. Like, initially, so there was definitely a very clear switch in my life where I was like, oh, I'm having sex for validation because it doesn't make any sense that I have sex with someone that I wouldn't introduce with my daughter or that I didn't respect enough to show to the world. So obviously there's some form of validation that I'm getting from it that has nothing to do with this actual person. And once I realized that, honestly, it became very difficult for me to have sex with somebody if I don't fuck with you intellectually, spiritually, not necessarily you have to believe in like a certain thing, but spiritually, definitely physically, but also emotionally. Like if I don't have those four, but the thing is, right?
You're better than me, bro.
And it's not better, right? It's just a different moment. And so now when I look at it, there is a sense of like what you said was really beautiful and honest, because as young men, and if you're a young man who does not have a kid right now, especially like regardless, share it with the young men that you know in your life who are maybe dealing with this. There is this idea of desperation that like women are finite and that they are like there's that because they are more selective than we are, then we should do certain things that we would not necessarily do to either get with them or like think about what you said. Like I'm not gonna do this for life, but like they have more options than me, so I should do this. But like we could value ourselves, right? That desperation naturally puts them above us in a way that it shouldn't be. And it's weird because I told you about Uncle Alonzo, so if you didn't see the first episode, my Uncle Alonzo showed me a naked girl, like literally brought a woman from the kitchen, shows me my first naked girl when I'm a kid, traumatizes me in the weirdest way possible. And he's like, yo, it's only a girl. And what he was trying to say, I honestly believe was like, she's no more important than you are. It was a really horrible way to do it. But now when I'm looking at entertaining anybody who comes into my life, like they are no better or important or more valuable than me. And so when I look at having sex with somebody, like I'm the prize, as opposed to, and it's not just I am that, like we are both someone of value. So like if we don't connect on those four things, you know, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, physically, honestly, like I you know, all out in the open, it is difficult for me to really show up fully, even sexually.
Yeah. I mean,
because what does it do? Like you have 20 minutes of sex and then what happens?
For me,
be honest.
Go on your way.
So hold on. So what you're telling me, so you ever heard the expression take the dog for a walk? You know what that means? Like you yanking it.
Oh.
You don't have to say that, but if you're a dude who does that, you know after you do it, it's like this weird like fuck.
Brother,
You're gonna tell me that a lot of those instances where you have sex with somebody where you not necessarily would have wanted to or wanted to have a relationship with don't feel semi-close? Like you could have done that and it would have been the same.
Well, like for me, bro, it's like I don't know. I feel like I always, and I could be lying to myself,
okay.
But I feel like any female, like now, obviously when I was younger, like it was a problem. Like anybody can get it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But now I am a little older. I do look at like developing some type of like stronger bond rather than just physically.
Yeah.
Like physically. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of, like, I don't know if you noticed, bro, but, like, sometimes I'll see a girl, I'm like, damn, like, she's cool as hell. She's got her head on her shoulders. Dope. Like, everything's good. And then, like, after you smash, it's like, excuse me, things start changing
for her or for you?
On her.
Are you sure it's not your perspective of her?
Well, maybe both.
Okay.
Maybe both.
Like, it's almost like post-nut clarity.
Like, no, like, I still like you. Yeah. But, like, sometimes a female will just be like, they start getting super attached, like start acting completely different.
Yeah, because they are more emotionally attached to ejaculation than we are.
Ejaculation.
I mean, am I not allowed to say that?
I don't know.
This is our podcast. Maybe ejaculation is not the word, but they are more emotionally attached to
sex.
Let's say
intimacy.
Well, I think so. What I think it is actually not necessarily sex, because I don't think they get emotionally attached to bad sex. I think it is climax more than it is sex. I think especially climax, because according to a lot of women, not a lot of men help them get there. So if you find someone who does and you actually mess with him, then it's probably even heightened sense. I don't think it's just necessarily sex, because then they would consistently have sex everywhere. I think sex that they connect to, and that's why I said ejaculation, which is weird. Well, I mean, nah, it's not weird because
When I think about ejaculate, I don't know. I'm thinking about
yeah. Apparently, you never
Ejaculation.
play with the squirt gun.
nah, the squirt gun get played with, but
Anyway, go ahead.
but man, it's just you ever hit and then it's just that she just acts different.
Yeah, 100%.
Super more
Yeah.
attached, just like
Yeah.
completely.
I
Like,
talked about that being my toxic trait.
but yeah,
Yes.
but it's well, you're
I hear
saying.
what you're saying.
I see what you're
Yeah,
saying too,
yes.
because it is that, but it's
Yeah.
after the fact of like
Yeah.
you know. Sometimes I don't ever like try to smash. I feel like I don't know. I don't try to be this different person than who I am.
Okay.
Just to get some cheeks.
I hear what you're saying.
I am who I am.
So you're showing up as you are.
I show up as how I am,
Yeah.
and then I get the cheeks, and I'm still who I am.
Got it.
But same time, like I don't know. Damn, bro, I don't know. I'm fucked up, bro.
I think
so
we all
fucked
are.
up. I'm fucked up.
But that's why we're here. We're
Because
talking
sometimes,
through
like,
it.
I will clap some cheeks. I'm like,
Damn, why'd I do that?
you're kind of whack.
Yeah.
Like, and it's
'Cause
not
I'm
even had nothing to do with the cheeks.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's like, why did I do that?
you're kind of whack.
Yeah.
So like,
so the thing is, I would say that's not a her problem. That's a you problem because you engaged in it for a reason that wasn't necessarily for her or for you. And so for me, I'm at a point where if it's not for both of us, like, hey, there's a connection here, there's something great here, and I think we also have great physical relationship. It's tough for me to show up because bro, I'm talking about like 35 plus years of that shit.
yeah,
And I mean, thinking that like, oh, I just want to have sex. No, like you were trying, not you, me. I was filling a void that I had.
mm-hmm.
I did not feel full. And a woman telling me how great I was or how this, that, and the other momentarily fill a void. But it's the same post-nut clarity app. That's why, like, think about that. Like, why would you ever want to come through a sexual relationship and then be like, oh, like, I don't even know, like, if I would do that again. Like, you ever pull one from the chamber and tell a girl not to come? Like, not to come over.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, why were you entertaining it in the first place?
yeah.
Why would you entertain it in the first place, right? And I think as men,
Because we trying to get that nut out.
yeah, but the thing is, I think it goes back to voids and desperation, right? As men, we're told that they're on this pedestal, and don't get me wrong, I'm putting my girl on a pedestal, but it can't be above me. It's above everyone else.
Yeah.
And so once you put it above you, it's like I have to do and act and say things that I might necessarily. And some men take that way too far. It doesn't sound like you do, but then some men take it way too far and they get it, and it's like, why did I do that? But when you see it on the same plane, and I'm looking at those 4 categories now, like without it, like once you've done it with all 4, doing it without is like,
what you're saying with
Yeah.
the whole with the 4.
yeah,
What we gotta call that? The 4 fucking
the core 4.
the core 4.
What? Bars? Okay. The core 4.
Once you have the core 4,
Intellectually, emotionally, spiritually,
physically,
and physically. And
Yeah.
physical doesn't necessarily mean like your body. I think it could be physical connection, like sexually, but also like I have to be like
have a physical
I want
attraction.
desire for you. I want
have
to
to have
devour
physical
you
attraction.
type vibe.
Listen, they say guys can't stay faithful. You've
Yeah.
heard like
I think a dude can stay faithful.
a dude can fucking for sure stay faithful.
You want to hear a
bro.
weird ass story? It had to be 32 years, and I thought I had commitment issues. I met somebody, and I'm talking about within 2 weeks, I realized it wasn't commitment issues. I just hadn't found somebody I wanted to commit to, because when I found that person, it was so easy
Yes.
to drop all of the rest.
Yes.
And so I don't think it's
Yes.
necessarily commitment issues. I don't think it's like I gotta feel it. Now,
Yes,
I'll be honest
bro.
with you, that feeling wasn't the one. Obviously, I'm here now, I'm single.
Yeah.
But now that I see it's not commitment issues, it's finding someone you commit to, I realize what men are doing is filling voids until they find that one.
Bro, I can be a committed, faithful, loyal man, bro, but you have to have it has to be that one, bro, that has the core 4, bro.
And the fucked up thing about us, not us, well, yes, us at some point, but men in general, is that we will entertain until we find, as opposed to just waiting. And that's the difference.
Age has a huge factor in
I think
that.
age does have a factor, but also with some men, they think that it comes natural based on what they saw.
Side note, do you believe that's why younger younger females go for older men?
You know what? You want to know? This is gonna sound all kinds of fucked up. You want to know why I really think that happens? Is because I think older men realize that sex is about us, and young men think sex is about me. So a young man goes into sex, and it's like, oh my god, this is about me. An old man's like, yo, if I really turn this key, really, she gonna bother me in the best possible ways. And I think young men approach sex because of porn and other things from a, what can I get.
Yeah.
I think as an older man, you're like, I'm going to get there. You ain't never, as a young man, most young men always get there. But if she gets one or two before you do,
well, I mean,
then so I think that's why the older man approaches it different.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you're talking about like having the actual sex part.
I think the focus, as a young man, your focus is on you. Like even when I hear about people go on dates, oh, this motherfucker talks about himself all the whole time. As an older man, like, because I'm interested in you,
yeah,
I'm actually asking about you, your interest. Like,
I feel like the girls are going for older men just because of the fact that like we already got that whole stage out.
Facts.
Like, there's a whole stage.
I think for some, I think we needed it.
Every man has a whole stage.
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so. I think if you have, so there's 3 attachment styles. There's insecure attachment, avoidant attachment, and secure attachment. I think if you're avoidant, like you and I most likely are, you definitely have a whole stage. I think if you are insecure, which we probably have some as well, you have a whole stage. If you're a secure attachment where you're cool with yourself and you know what you want, and like I think we thought, like, so for instance, you knew that you always wanted one woman, but you talking about a whole stage. Obviously, there was some kind of conflict there, and until that conflict was resolved, you had to figure it out, right? You had relationships, like you talked, like think about it, like that was obviously a conflict. You had a relationship that was great for some time, but then had to have the whole stage. There was obviously a conflict there. Yeah. I think, depending on our attachment style, like some dudes, like I think the younger you get married, people are like, oh my God, you have no idea. Like, maybe they actually know who they actually are if they're getting married because
I know a lot of people that married their high school sweetheart, you know, and I'm like, I know they was out here hoeing out.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
I think in every situation you're going to find outliers. I don't think everyone has to go through a hoe stage. And I hate that narrative only because then we're telling young men that you have to run through everything. And honestly, it's not true.
You don't have to run through everything, but like you got to experience.
Why?
Life,
Why?
Bro.
Because if I gave you a Lambo, would you need to test the Sentra? You wouldn't.
If you gave me a Lambo at a young age,
you wouldn't have to test the Sentra.
I wouldn't have to test the Sentra, but I want to test the Ferrari. I want to test the Urus.
No. Not if you value the Lambo.
I want to test the Bugatti.
Nah.
Yes.
Not if you. No. You know why? Because we was hoes at a young age.
No, bro.
Yeah.
If you
can't ride 2 cars with one ass. So if I give you the car that's of extreme value, you know it is of extreme value. And the other thing is, if you had to test the Bugatti, but you knew that you could lose the Lambo, would you? You and I would, because we was in the hoe stage. The person who understands the value of the Lambo, and maybe the person who, like, you know, obviously this is a car analogy, so we fucking it up.
If all you know is the Lambo, you're going to want to know other vehicles.
Not if you value the Lambo, and that's the problem. So let me ask you this. Ready? Do you have to have another daughter?
No.
Do you have to? Why? Because you know
daughter's different, bro.
No.
The daughter is mine. That came from me.
The value is the
daughter's mine, bro. The daughter came from me, bro. That's like that.
Value,
you can't compare the two.
Value is value. Yes, you
can't. No,
yes,
you cannot, bro.
I think you should.
Hell no.
Yeah, because
you should. Yes, you should. But you. So in a perfect world,
I understand from our situation why you say that. But from a situation where you end up marrying the woman who you have kids with, which is what I think. Like, I'm not saying it's best case scenario. I'm saying it's a great scenario, especially to set up your kids. Well, then they came from ya. And so then you would not disrespect the Lambo in front of the Lambo that you created.
What you're telling me is that if I'm 16 years old, I lose my virginity to my girlfriend. We get married at 22. That's the only girl I've ever been with.
I hear you.
That as a man, I'm not going to see another fine-ass girl and not want to clap cheeks. And if the opportunity came, I'm not going to be curious. and
I think
want to do
curiosity.
it.
I think curiosity and action. I'm not saying that even as a married man, whenever I would love to get married at some point. When I get married, I'm going to see attractive women. I understand that. What I think you have to have a level of understanding that like
But you
there's
only
always
have-
going to be a vision of better or an idea of better. Like at that point, what I hope. I'm not there yet, bro. I'm working on myself. What I hope is I'm watering my grass so much it don't matter how green everybody else's
You
grass
have
is.
that. You have that perspective because you already been in the streets.
Yeah, you're right.
So
I
if you
think some people don't need to be in the streets, though, is the thing. I think
but
I think some people don't need to be in the streets. Some people saw how great 2 Lambos could be, and they created a Lambo, and then they said, you know what? When I find what I want,
what
I'm good.
percentage?
I don't know
Say a
percentage.
percentage
Well,
of
the
that.
thing is, the fucked up part is that 50% of marriages fail. And so I think what happens is that we get bad guidance from old guys who feel like they missed out on things. Like when I look at the people who gave me advice on women, they felt like they missed out because they did not value relationships early enough, and they valued sex more than humanity. Because they were getting validation from their friends based on who they could smash.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get when you get guidance from someone who's actually full, I think I was getting guidance from people who it was Swiss cheese, as opposed to someone who was full. When you get guidance from someone who's full, I don't think you need to go out into the world because your perspective is way different. And it's coming from someone who's like, how many times you've been told how to run your business by someone who never run a business?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. Oh, you should do. No, bro. Why wouldn't you take their advice? And you might listen to them, but you're not necessarily gonna. But if someone is in your industry and is above you and where you're at, you're probably going to take their advice because it's full. It comes from actually being a practitioner, but also with love because they want you to succeed as well.
Yeah.
The advice that we're getting is from people who never ran a business, who never really had a real relationship, and so how can that be full? Let's hit it again. I think we got to be done, honestly.
Yeah, it's almost.
It's almost done.
We gotta wrap it up.
Fuck, we might be out of batteries.
Put mine on. How we gonna do that?
I don't know. I'm hoping that
That's just gonna be choppy from GoPro to Canon.
yeah, we'll fuck it up. Come on.
Hey, if y'all made it this far,
Yeah.
we just wanna let y'all know. Me and Joe literally like we doing this as we go. Like
Yeah,
we
we
like
have no clue,
We got
and
2
we're
cameras,
enjoying it.
batteries are dying, one's shutting off after 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So if
We
this
have-
is choppy, just
We're
know
doing our best.
hopefully, next episode's like this just gets better and better.
Honestly,
so
we're at 48 minutes. I think it's honestly because we're outside and the temperature of the actual. But we'll figure it out.
we're gonna put that on
Let me ask you
ice.
this. So we do have to get going. And
Yeah.
bro, this is honestly, the conversation has been immaculate.
Yeah.
I love this. We
I
need to
love it.
continue this, but we're not going to do it here. I do have a question for you. What is the thing? Is there something that you might change based on this conversation? And you can be honest.
Which one? Which
The
conversation?
whole conversation, based on today's podcast. Is there something that you might look at differently?
Well, yes. One, like, I've already kind of been doing this where, like, the girl that I even talk to, the girl that I'm even putting any type of energy into,
Mhm.
like, she needs, like, I'm going to check the boxes of, like, making sure she's a role model for my daughter. Not necessarily a stepmom, but, like, a role model.
Which is such a different. That's
it's
such
different.
An important
It's
clarification.
important.
That's dope.
I just want to, like, just like my priorities for my female now is just like different, man. Like it's just after these conversations, like now you got me saying I need to be clear. I need to have some clarity with her and communicate with whoever I'm dealing with to let them know exactly where I stand. Like if I want to be serious with you, I need to let her know, listen, I'm trying to be serious with you. Whereas before, I wasn't necessarily like
as serious.
Like I was doing more action. Now talking to you, man, this shit has been therapy,
It
bro.
really has, man.
It's been
For both of
therapy
us,
for
bro,
both of
honestly.
us. Cause as men, we don't talk about this stuff, bro.
No, we don't.
I never have any of these conversations
Yeah.
with anybody in my entire life.
It's tough
bro.
for me. I think that's the yin and yang. Honestly, I was raised by a woman and women. I was raised by my mom and my aunt, is what I would say, for like the really impressionable young years. My stepdad was around and honestly a really great man, but like the small talk for me is tough, bro. tough. Like I want to know in the soul what's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. It's difficult for men to talk about this kind of stuff because we're supposed to have it all figured out. But we're all living life for the first time, so why would any of us have it figured out?
What about you, bro? How does this make you, like, with everything, episode 3, almost in the wraps now?
Yeah.
What, like, have you changed anything? Is anything changing from you, or have you learned something? Like,
There's a quote from a book that I'm reading right now. If you're down with the Red Rising series, yeah, I mess with you because I'm getting deep into sci-fi for the first time ever. I've never read like fiction stuff, and the quote says "res non verba," which means actions, not words. And I think it's very easy to come with these ideals, but to be completely actionable on them is what character is, right? Like it's easy for me to say I'm not going to smash anybody unless I'm not even going to attempt to smash anybody. The reason I know it don't work is because I've tried to smash people who I wasn't down with the core for, right? So if for me, what I'm looking at, even really from today's conversation, is how can I be the person completely that I say I am here, right? And not need to, like, I think one of my defaults is I need to learn lessons multiple times as opposed to learning it the first time or seeing someone else learn it and just learning from them. I think someone says the smart man tries and then learns. The wise man learns from seeing the smart man. I ain't wise yet.
yeah.
I need to touch the paint to see if it's wet. That's probably what I would say, bro. I just want to say I appreciate this episode, bro.
Yeah.
Like this is different. This is not. It was funny but it wasn't as goofy as we usually be.
Yeah. It could be because we're only on a high noon and a half.
Facts.
But
that it usually gets a little crazy out there.
yeah.
I'm really curious if you're a man. Please in the comments let me know if you think you have to be as clear verbally, or does actions speak louder than words? If you're a woman, I'm really curious to see what you think about that, but also, entertaining men in general. What do you think?
The back burner.
Yeah. Do you have a back burner? And I know you say like, oh, there's no way. I mean, we got some brave souls.
I hope they would just be honest. I hope this is a space where everybody can just be honest. I have another question, though, is put it on the comments as well. As a man, do you feel that you need to have, as a man, do you feel that you need to go through, like, your stage of women, dealing with all different types of women before you can actually lock down, settle down with one? Put that
Do you need
down.
a whole stage?
Do you need a whole stage? Put that down in the comments. Me personally, like, I felt like I needed a whole stage to realize that, like, excuse my words, but like these bitches ain't shit type shit. And
Wow.
and a girl would say the same shit. Oh,
Yeah.
these guys are
trust me,
dogs. These
man.
dogs ain't shit. Like,
I've heard it.
it's the same concept, so don't take it the wrong way. But like, do you have to go through that stage of like realizing until you actually appreciate and love that one that you just want to stick with? Like, do you have to go through that? Put that down in the comments.
Yeah, I would say, and this is it, I will end. This will be the last thing I say. I think if you put off dating until you're good with yourself, I think it becomes. I think that's when you would realize you don't need a whole stage. But I don't know. But that obviously I had a whole stage, right? So I think if you are cool with yourself completely, you know what you want to do with your career, you know what you want from relationships, because you've had relationships, not necessarily romantic ones. But I think once you're cool with yourself entirely, because until then, you're looking to fill holes.
Yeah.
I think if you fill the holes first, you don't need that.
No, facts. I mean, I went through my whole stage because I was filling holes. So
I believe that one alone. Kev says he fills holes. We out of here. That's episode 3 of the BDE podcast. I fuck with it. Thank you, Kev.
appreciate y'all, man.
I was filling holes.
Stay tuned. Episode 4 coming your way.
Oh shit.